Indians love binge watching. They are devoting a considerable amount of time streaming their favorite TV shows and movies on OTT platforms. While the country's OTT market is growing at a compound annual growth rate of 36%, a report by Eros Now and KPMG indicates that an OTT consumer in India streams for an average 70 minutes a day and 12.5 times a week. According to a report by Omax Media, the OTT streaming applications have now reached 34% of India's population. The total audience on the platforms grew by 13.5% to reach 481 million in 2023, from 423 million in 2022. The report indicates that the OTT universe is rapidly growing owing to its adoption outside the big cities. India has over 36 million individuals who pay for one or more streaming services, while 77 million people stream their favorite shows on subscriptions taken by their family or friends. The majority of users, however, still consume free streaming content, including YouTube and other social media platforms. The major players like Disney Plus Hotstar, Amazon Prime, Sony Live, ZEE5 and Netflix command the major share in the Indian market. Apart from national players, several regional OTT players are also emerging in the Indian market. Platforms such as Hoichoi, Sun NXT, AHA, Kude and Stage are catering different cultures and regional languages.
Today you have an interesting mix where you have small regional players who are releasing one original piece of content every week through the year. Right, that's more than 50 pieces of content a year. That's a lot of budget. But out of that, the tentpole may be less than 5. Right? On the other hand, you have large platforms which buy big Bollywood and South films at big amounts because that drives subscription takeoff, that attracts customers to download their app and install it and register. So in my mind, tentpole content will do very well. Low-end content will do very well. It's the kind of in-between content that we are seeing, which is neither tentpole nor low cost, which really needs to prove its mettle. So I think you're going to see production budgets kind of get reallocated to what works best, what sustains best, and anything that doesn't work really is going to see a bit of pressure.
While the industry is growing, certain OTT players struggle to achieve profitability, prompting cost cuts measures. Platforms now opt for safer choices in acquiring new titles and reducing investments in premium shows. Industry experts caution against free access to premium content like cricket, which may adversely affect the overall revenue stream. This is primarily due to the substantial expense associated with media rights. Attempts to offset the decline in subscription income solely with advertising revenue have proven to be challenging for the streaming platforms. Industry players are also moving towards consolidation. Ongoing mergers like Sony Zee and Reliance Disney have been in the news for quite some time. But nearly 2 years after announcing a merger plan, Zee Entertainment Enterprises has asked Sony Pictures Networks India, now known as Culver Max Entertainment, to push back the deadline. Salman Waris of TechLegis Advocates and Solicitors explains, making the industry move towards consolidation.
Most of the OTT players are actually operating under heavy losses, and that would force some of the smaller players to be acquired by bigger players. Obviously, this year the growth has been a little less than the previous year, so between 12, a little higher than 12%, while earlier it was 20%. But still, in terms of the overall market penetration of OTT services has just been about 34%. So we expect that to grow, and the growth in telecom sector as such generally in future is, as far as data is concerned, that's where the growth lies. So there's going to be more investment and more growth and more consolidation in the long run. And I think that would also bring in more government oversight and more regulation.
Content on OTT platforms and traditional television are not the same. TV content is regulated by the government, but for the millennials and Gen Z, OTT is now the new television, as it offers distinct treatment of content matching the standards of world cinema. OTT content is presently regulated by IT Rules 2021. Experts note that the grievance redressal mechanism outlined in the new IT rules is being misused by the self-regulatory bodies to moderate selective content. In response, the union government has now moved to regulate digital publishing services through a new bill. In 2023, the government proposed a draft Broadcasting Services Regulation Bill, essentially bringing in the OTT streaming platforms and digital news platforms under the ambit of traditional broadcasting regulations. So, how will the new bill change content on OTT platforms going forward?
I think there could be a certain influence on the content as well, because we have already seen, as far as the self-regulatory body is concerned, they have passed certain orders which have been controversial, where they have tried to play the content moderator role and highlighted two or rather issued orders to OTT players, and which almost are in the nature of as if they were orders of the court. So we think that that kind of an overlap or that outreach could continue under the broadcast bill as well, and there could be a certain level of hard or rather over regulation as far as the content moderation is concerned in terms of the powers under the broadcast services bill.
Some experts are hopeful about the new bill in the parliament, anticipating better clarity on the powers of self-regulatory bodies. However, they are also concerned about potential overregulation of content in 2024. What else is in store for OTT players in 2024?
On one side, we are hearing about a lot of consolidation in the market, right? Which brings together certain powerhouses of content that will really bring great quality content into the OTT world. On the other side, we are seeing a revenue model which is changing, right? There's a lot more free content that's being made available today. And how long that lasts, I mean, great for consumers. Let's see how long that lasts, from a market point of view. So you have two very different forces that are coming around. I think what we're going to see is a massification of OTT over the next 2 to 3 years, right? You're going to see more and more content now getting out of the top 20, 30 million homes and be created for the next 20, 30 million.
Cracking the Indian OTT market is not easy. Experts emphasize the need for a deeper understanding of sustained profitability. In the evolving landscape of the streaming industry, they believe New Year is going to be beneficial for both players and streamers as consolidation continues.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.
He's making plans for an early retirement. Business Standard.